Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Carbonite.
Today on Variant, I'm counting down the top 10 best comic book villains of all time. Well, in my opinion at least. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I love sitting down watching a good movie with a cherry Slurpee in one hand and a Slim Jim in the other. I'm your host, Arris Quinones. Like I just said, today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 bad guys of comics. So that's all the guys who've destroyed the most cities, killed the most people, tried to conquer the world, and quite simply just always piss off our heroes. But with that said, what is a hero without good villains? Nothing. So let's count down the best of the best, starting with number 10. Kicking this countdown off at number 10 is Loki. Loki made his first appearance in Timely Comics Venus publication issue 6 in August of 1949. Timely Comics would later become Marvel Comics, at which point Loki made his first official Marvel appearance as we know him now in Journey into the Mystery issue 85. In October of 1962, Loki is the stepbrother of the God of Thunder Thor, has been pissing him off ever since Journey into the Mystery 85, as well as pissing off the rest of Avengers since Avengers issue 1 in September of 1963. Loki has genius level intelligence and is one of, if not the most powerful sorcerer of Asgard. He possesses the ability to manipulate magical forces for multiple purposes: energy projection, creation of force fields, temporarily increasing his own physical strength, granting superhuman abilities to living beings or inanimate objects, flight, hypnosis, illusion casting, and interdimensional teleportation. He's just an all-around awesome villain, hence him being the first villain for the Avengers in the comics and being the villain in the first Avengers movie. At number 9 is Galactus. He made his first appearance in Fantastic Four issue 48 in March of 1966. He's the sole survivor of the universe existing before the Big Bang. Galactus is perhaps the most feared being in the cosmos, considering he devours planets. I mean, they don't call him the conqueror of worlds for nothing. He's probably killed more people than any other villain on this list, or even all combined on this list. He consumes entire planets. Although some people may consider him a force of nature and a natural part of the universal order, I think we can all agree he's definitely a BAMF. Coming in at number 8 is Dr. Doom. The character debuted in Fantastic Four issue 5 in July of 1962. His real name is Victor Von Doom. He suffered an accident that caused his face to be scarred. After this accident, he made things even worse for himself when he attached a hot steel mask to his face, further scarring him physically and mentally. He has controlled various forces of the universe, much like Thanos, such as the power cosmic, which he stole from the Silver Surfer. He has also usurped powers from my number 9 villain, Galactus, and the all-powerful being the Beyonder, and he's definitely the Fantastic Four's biggest pain in the balls. At lucky number 7, we have Sinestro, who we first see back in August of 1961 in Green Lantern issue 7. Once one of the best Green Lanterns who have ever been in the Green Lantern Corps, and he was actually the Green Lantern who was assigned to train Hal Jordan when he joined the Green Lantern Corps. Sinestro eventually turned evil and donned a yellow lantern ring and created his own corps, the Sinestro Corps, or Yellow Lanterns, and has been wreaking havoc in the galaxy ever since. At number 6 is Darkseid, who we first saw in Superman's Pal issue 134 in November of 1970. Darkseid has been pissing off heroes in the DC universe and trying to take over the world for years, but is most recently the reason for the Justice League even forming in the first place in DC's New 52 relaunch. So basically, he's so dang powerful you need a team of superheroes to beat him, and a team that consists arguably the strongest superhero in all of comics, Superman. Darkseid is from a planet called Apocalypse and has many abilities like vast intellect, super strength, invulnerability, omega beams that shoot from his eyes, and he's just an awesome looking character, especially Jim Lee's redesign. At number 5, we have a tie between Ra's al Ghul and Bane. Before I talk about Ra's al Ghul though, people are always arguing how you pronounce his name. Is it Ra's al Ghul? Is it Ra's al Ghul? Well, I'm going to put that argument to rest once and for all.
Your father's name was pronounced Raish, not Raz. A common mistake.
And argument over. Ra's al Ghul first appeared in Batman issue 232. His name is Arabic, and when translated it means the demon's head, which is kinda creepy but fitting for the character. His daughter Talia al Ghul is a longtime love interest of Batman and the mother of his son Damian Wayne, meaning that Ra's al Ghul is Batman's son's grandfather, so I would say that hits pretty close to home. But why is Ra's al Ghul such a good villain? Well, he's an international criminal mastermind whose ultimate goal is a world in perfect balance. He believes the only way to achieve this balance is to eliminate most of humanity. He is aided in his quest by the Lazarus pits of rejuvenating chemicals that restore the dying to life, which have allowed him to live for several centuries. Then we have Bane, who first appeared in Vengeance of Bane issue 1 in January of 1993. He's a fairly new villain, so some people might not think he should be on this list, but for his cool factor alone, I think he deserves to be on this list. Plus, he made quite a name for himself in the comics and other forms of media like TV and the big screen. He's one of Batman's smartest and strongest villains, and that's a deadly combination. He's known as the man who broke the bat, as he's put Batman out of commission for a while due to him breaking his back over his knee. Bane is just awesome and definitely a fan favorite. Sailing in at number 4 is Magneto. Magneto was the first villain ever for the X-Men, appearing in X-Men issue 1 in September of 1963. Magneto, like I just said, is the X-Men's first villain, and I would say is still their best villain, which says a lot because the X-Men have some great villains. What's really cool about Magneto is besides having one of the coolest powers ever, controlling anything metal, he brings some good emotional aspect to the stories, as he's kind of good at heart. He just wants the mutants to be accepted, but goes about it the wrong way, which makes for some good stories. Now, before I get into my top 3 comic book villains, it's time to acknowledge the lovely people who keep our lights on. Carbonite protects your pictures and your other files from computer crashes, fire, theft, or when you accidentally delete a file. By automatically and continually backing up your files and keeping them securely off-site, you'll never have to remember to back up again. Whether you have 1 or 2 computers at home or several computers at your small business, Carbonite is the better backup plan. Over 1 million customers trust Carbonite to protect their home and small business computer files with plans starting at just $59 a year. Start your free trial at Carbonite.com with the offer code VARIANT, and you'll get 2 bonus months if you decide to buy. That's Carbonite.com, and the offer code for 2 bonus months is VARIANT. Making their way to the top 3 at number 3, and I say they because it's a tie between Lex Luthor and Doomsday. Lex Luthor, I imagine, would be on anyone's best comic villains list. I mean, comic book fan or not, you know who Lex Luthor is. He made his first appearance in Action Comics issue 23 in April of 1940. He's an old fart. Lex is basically a bald genius man who doesn't like the Man of Steel and just thinks that Superman is a powerful alien that could rule the world if he decided he wanted to. Lex has tried a whole bunch of techniques to defeat Superman, like kryptonite everything, creating Bizarro, and Metallo on Earth 30. The funny thing is, Lex thinks he's the hero when he's put Earth in danger numerous amount of times. As for Doomsday, he first was introduced in Superman the Man of Steel issue 18 in November of 1992. Putting it plain and simple, he deserves to be on this list because he killed Superman. Any villain that can do that is friggin' awesome in my book. At number 2 is another tie with Green Goblin and Venom. Now you're probably like, that's your 3rd tie on this countdown, and I know, but it's not my fault. There's just so many good villains in comics. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. The Green Goblin first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 14 in July of 1964. The Green Goblin is responsible for one of the biggest events in all of comics, killing Spider-Man's first love, Gwen Stacy, which is one of the most unexpected and lasting deaths in comic book history. Now, that alone is enough to justify a spot on this list, but to make matters even worse, it's later revealed that he had impregnated Gwen Stacy, leading to the birth of twins prior to killing her. So, not only did Gobby kill the first love of Spider-Man, but he got some yum gimme some from her first. So that's just messed up stuff right there. As for Venom, he made his first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man issue 299 in the very last panel of the issue in April of 1988. Venom is pretty much the nightmare version of Spider-Man. Venom was originally Peter's costume that he got during the Secret War storyline, but later found out it was an alien symbiote, so he rejected the alien symbiote, at which point it attached itself to Eddie Brock. It then fused the two beings together that already hated Spider-Man, the symbiote itself and Eddie Brock, into a single entity that really hated Spider-Man. What's really cool about Venom is he represents another one of Peter's failings in regards to the "with great power comes great responsibility" quote. Peter was exposed to an even greater power with the symbiote, which he abused and allowed himself to lose control with. So he rejected the symbiote entirely, making himself responsible for the creation of his own villain, as well as Venom's offspring, Carnage, who also deserves an honorable mention. And at number 1 is none other than the Joker. He first graced the comic book in spring of 1940 in Batman issue 1. That's right, he's been there since the beginning. Now, I'm gonna say it flat out, if the Joker isn't at least top 3 in your best villains list, you're nuts. I can understand him not being number 1, but not even in top 3, you are crazy. There are few comic book characters out there that are known worldwide, Batman being one of them, and there's no way you know who Batman is without knowing who the Joker is. The Joker is my favorite villain of all time, period, for many reasons. One of the main reasons being he's just flat out crazy. He doesn't care about money, power, fame, taking over the world, or even life. The Clown Prince of Crime has one interest, Batman, and how much he can piss him off. Over the years, he's attacked Batman emotionally, physically, psychologically, in any other way you could possibly think of. I mean, he killed the second Robin, Jason Todd, shot Batgirl in the spine, paralyzing her, and most recently cut off his freaking face to make a point to Batman, all while mind-effing the crap out of Batman and the rest of the Bat family in the recent Death of the Family storyline, which is still resonating with Batman and the rest of the Bat family. In a weird, twisted, psychotic way, the Joker loves Batman and thinks he's the yin to his yang, and thinks he keeps Batman the best Batman he can be by always pushing Batman to his limits, so much to even try to make him break his one rule, and that is to kill him. He's just utter chaos and has no real rhyme or reason, which is why I think he's the best villain of all time. First up for Wednesday, May 15th, we have Red Hood in the Outlaws issue 20. The return of Proctor sees Arsenal and Corey revealing Red Hood's memories, including his battles with the League of Assassins. Next, we have Nightwing issue 20. After witnessing so much death in the past few months, how will Nightwing react when he learns a key figure in his life has returned from the grave? Here we have Kick-Ass issue 3. This is the last ever Kick-Ass story arc of Mark Millar's and John Romita Jr. series. Definitely a must-read for all comic fans. Next, we have Iron Man issue 10. What Tony Stark discovers in this issue will land the biggest story arc for Tony Stark this year. And finally, we have Peter Panzerfaust's trade paperback volume 2. This is the retelling of the Peter Pan mythology, and it comes to all new life in this action-packed second volume with new allies, Tiger Lily, Big Chief, and the Braves. Well, that brings another episode to a close. I know there are some villains, though. You guys are like, I can't believe that didn't make your list, Arris, but what can I say? Those are just my personal favorites. There are no real definitive answers for things like this, but with that said, I want to know your guys' list. So post your top 10 comic villains list below. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones, and be sure to like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. But that's it. Now I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. The God of Thunder, Thor, and has been pissing off Thor. Dang it. Of Asgard. He possesses the ability to manipulate magical forces for a variety. Dang it. Variety of purposes. Porpoises.